I saw something wearing a man's face on the subway, and it knew I saw it. I never believed in demons, or reptilian shapeshifters, or whatever weird government-run horror people whisper about in Discord servers and conspiracy subreddits. I always figured those people were cracked out or bored or both. But that was before this shit started happening to me. Call me what you want. A delusional 25-year-old loser with nothing better to do than spiral. Fine. But I live in a shitty walk-up in Queens. I work a job I hate in Midtown. And I've got a useless degree collecting dust under a stack of unpaid parking tickets. I don't even want to believe what I saw. But I did. And I can't unsee it. 2 weeks ago, I was on the R train headed into the city. It was still dark out, just after 6 a.m. I'd barely gotten any sleep. The subway car was quiet, just the usual half-dead commuters, and the guy muttering to himself at the far end. Then he stepped on. Tall, clean suit, polished shoes, expensive briefcase. At first, he looked like any Wall Street asshole running on caffeine and narcissism. But then he turned toward me, and I swear I forgot how to breathe. His face. It looked like it had been drawn from memory. Wrong in the way bad prosthetics are wrong. Everything too smooth, too symmetrical. The eyes were too round, the mouth too wide, ears pointed and long, like someone had guessed what human proportions should be and missed the mark. His lips moved, but not to speak. Just moved, constantly, as if rehearsing expressions without emotion behind them. Then he blinked. No, not blinked. Reset. Like a screen flickering. His entire face twitched all at once. Eyes, nose, mouth. Then locked back into place like a bad CGI render loading in. I must have stared too long. When I blinked, his face looked normal again. Just some tired finance bro in a $3,000 suit. I actually thought I'd dozed off standing up. One of those micro dreams, you know? The kind that hit you seconds before sleep. But when the doors opened at my stop, I stepped off and happened to glance back at the train. That's when I saw it again, in the reflection of the train window. His face was, well, it looked like a demon. And that wasn't the last time. For the next few weeks, I started seeing them, not just on trains, in stores, on sidewalks, behind windows, on Broadway, on televisor, on the news. They were everywhere. There was one day, the day, that finally broke something in me. It was a Tuesday, dead quiet at work. I was sitting behind the register, half asleep and trying not to Google symptoms of a mental breakdown. Then I heard a small voice. "Excuse me, mister." I looked up. It was a little girl, maybe 7. Brown pigtails, holding a small pack of batteries. Totally normal until her face twitched, just for a second, like something inside her skin pushed out. Her smile ripped wide, up past her cheeks, almost to her ears. Her eyes sunk inward, pupils swallowed by this deep, syrupy black that seemed to breathe. Her skin was too tight around her skull, bones shifting underneath like they were alive. Then it was gone. Normal face again. Big eyes, soft smile, looking up at me like nothing happened. I backed up so fast I knocked over the stool. People started turning to look. My boss called my name, but his voice sounded miles away. I didn't care. I bolted, straight out the front doors, into the street, without grabbing my coat or wallet. Just ran. Every face I passed after that was wrong. Every reflection, every glance, twisting, melting, watching. A barista's face split open when she looked over her shoulder. A businessman's neck bent in half when he sneezed, and he never fixed it. A toddler on the sidewalk made eye contact with me, and its eyes rolled all the way up into its skull. I ran all the way back to my apartment. It was supposed to be safe there. But when I burst through the door, gasping and shaking, I stopped cold. My parents were sitting on my couch. They don't live in the city. They never just show up. But there they were. "Sweetheart," my mom said gently, "look at this place. You haven't answered your phone in days." "Your boss called us," my dad added. "He said you had some kind of breakdown at work." Their voices were right, but their faces, smiles stretched a little too wide, eyes that didn't blink, teeth too even, too white. I could hear them creaking when they talked, like something was moving behind the mask. I couldn't speak. I just stood there, shaking, while they stared at me with those perfect, horrible faces. "What's going on, honey?" my mom asked, tilting her head. Her neck cracked like dry wood. "We're so worried about you." "Look," my dad said, standing up. "We think you might have, what's it called, honey?" "Oh," my mom said with a soft laugh. "Demon face syndrome. It's all over the news. You need to go to the doctor, sweetheart. They have something that'll make it all better. And don't feel bad," Dad added. "It's an epidemic. There are a lot of people in your position right now." I didn't move. My stomach dropped. My skin went cold. "How do you know what I'm seeing?" I asked, voice hoarse. I didn't tell you anything." They both just smiled. Not a blink, not a breath. Just smiled. "Because we love you," my mom said, stepping closer. "We know you better than anyone." "You don't look well," Dad said. "You should lie down. Maybe take some melatonin." "I never told you what I saw," I whispered. "I never told anyone." They kept smiling. And then, slowly, together, they tilted their heads at the same angle. It was so exact. It was like watching a video glitch. "You're not real," I said, stumbling back. You're not real." Mom's smile widened until her cheeks split at the corners. "We just want to help you, sweetheart. I ended up being taken by what y'all would probably call the Men in Black. No badge, no explanation. They brought me to what y'all would also call a secret government facility. Sterile white walls, buzzing lights that never stopped flickering, cameras in every corner. We weren't allowed to speak to each other at first, just sit, wait, watch. They packed us into a room, maybe 30 of us, faces pale and twitching, eyes darting around like hunted animals. There were TVs bolted into every corner of the ceiling, playing news coverage on a loop. They kept saying the same thing over and over. Demon face syndrome has been classified as a neurological epidemic affecting perception. If you or a loved one has begun seeing disturbing facial distortions or believes they're seeing demons in daily life, do not panic. You are not alone, and there is a treatment. The disorder is not contagious. It is simply a failure of the brain to filter visual stimuli properly. With medication and therapy, recovery is possible. You can have your normal life back. That phrase, "you can have your normal life back," was repeated at the end of every segment, like a promise, like a threat. One guy in the room couldn't take it anymore. He stood up and started screaming at the screen, veins bulging in his neck, spit flying from his lips. "They know," he shouted. "They know the veil has been lifted. We can see them now. We weren't supposed to see, but now we do, and they're trying to put it back." 2 guards rushed in and tackled him. He was still screaming when they dragged him out, but it was muffled. His voice didn't echo in the hallway, like the walls ate it. Nobody said a word after that. We just stared at the TVs and the faces on the screen. Because sometimes, when the anchor blinked too slow or turned her head too far, you could see it, just for a second, a flicker of what was underneath. Anyway, after a couple of days in that facility, being poked, prodded, interviewed, scanned, I was let go. No NDA, no memory wipe, no creepy men in suits threatening me to keep quiet. They just handed me a folder with a prescription in it and told me to take it if the faces come back. But I never took the pills, and I never saw them again. Not like before. Still, I don't think it's because I'm better. I think it's because they're better. Better at hiding. I'll tell you this much. I've taken the red pill, metaphorically speaking. I know what I saw wasn't some hallucination or neurological disorder. Those things pretending to be people, they are real. They are everywhere. I think they've always been here. And I think some of us weren't supposed to be able to see through them. But something went wrong. This is just a warning. If you've been through this, if you've seen them too, don't let anyone convince you that you're crazy. You aren't. I know you aren't. And I think there are more of us out there than they want us to believe. I'm working on a way to see them again. Really see them. Permanently. If you were part of the group in NYC, if you were taken and treated, please private message me. I'll send you a place to meet up with me. We bead to come up with ideas on how to get our sight back.